Hello, everybody, and welcome to another podcast. For the latest content that is released first, visit EverydayGamingSociety.com. Like us on Facebook and YouTube at Everyday Gaming Society. Follow us on Twitter at EGS Productions 1. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the sounds of Steve and Ricky as they discuss movie and TV news. Be sure to write us on any social media platform to have your comment read on a podcast. It is now time for some community feedback. Talked about this one in the past, but I want to go ahead and give it a shout out to this guy again. A interview that we did at Motor City Comic Con in 2019. Paracel Comics, the main man, Paris, he says EGS rules. It was awesome and epic, and that was an interview that I will not forget. Made my day, much appreciated, and I appreciate the love here on YouTube. Spider-Man, Edge of Time, Golden Spiders Act 3. Dreaming Wolves writes, at 1 minute and 39 seconds, this is why I came here. Hopefully you gained one more towards your trophy, or that was the last one you needed for your trophy. That is not a short achievement by any means. GTA 5 online non-commentary, Meeting with Marge Part 7. Pony Madness writes, epic video, and then also best buddy. It is great doing those Grand Theft Auto videos. If you guys ever want to jump on in, I am no longer on Mixer, but hit me up on Twitch, EGS Steve. Call of Duty Modern Warfare XP Boost, Delvin, subscriber, thank you for coming on back. Right on in, good gameplay, appreciate it. Ben 10 Omniverse Collectibles, Anori, another subscriber, comes on back, thank you. Writes, I know it's hella late, but thanks, bro. You are welcome. Assassin's Creed 3 Boston Treasure Chest. You're Fat and Lazy writes in, I love AC, Assassin's Creed, but this game is ass. I'm on the third mission. Hold on through. Hopefully you can get through the game. It's really not that bad. It's not the worst in the franchise, in my opinion. However, it is not the best game in the franchise also. Another comment on the Ben 10 Omniverse collectible video by 17 Battler. They rate an excellent guide. Thank you very much. Doom 3 Communications Transfer. Nicholas writes, good guide. Thank you very much. You are welcome. And the last one, Prototype 2 up to no good achievement. Live underscore a bunch of things. And then Love writes, this takes long to get a trophy. Yes, it does. Hopefully the guides help. Thank you guys for writing on in. And again, any comments, we will go ahead and read here on the podcast. Let's talk about John Wick. John Wick 4 and 5 are going to be coming back to back starting
big news.
Next year.
Yes.
Keanu Reeves, fully out of retirement.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's got what? Now he's got Bill and Ted 3 in a couple weeks, which looks really good. Haven't heard any early word on it, but it looks good. I can't wait for it. I think that might be my first PVOD movie. Unless I can go catch it in theaters. If theaters are open up by then I'll go see it in theaters. But I really want to see that. But yeah, he's got that. And my guess is if 3 is a success, they'll willingly do a 4. But then you got John Wick 4 and 5 now, and then you got Matrix 4. And if Matrix 4, Matrix, there's a 5 and 6 coming beyond.
Oh, of course.
You know there is.
They're going to make a lot of money opening night.
Yeah.
And it's going to be weird because that's also a great thing with timing. You already mentioned, are the theaters going to be open by then? Mm-hmm. Hell, we don't even know what's going to be happening within the next month. If the state is going to be shut back down, will the theaters even be open by the time Christmas comes around? Because a lot of people like to go, believe it or not, to the theaters around the Christmas time.
I go on Christmas.
Now, do you go on Christmas Day?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Gosh. Nope, not me. I'm staying home.
I go on, and it's always busy, too.
Like, I'm sure it is. Yeah, screw that.
It's funny. I don't know how this is going to. AMC says that they're going to be fine. That they're going to be able to weather the storm. That they got through the worst of it, and they'll be fine because they got money going into 2021. I don't know though. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I think everything's changed. I think obviously the big news from the past week is Disney is releasing Mulan on Disney Plus for $30.
Smart move. Very smart move.
I think it's genius. $30. You're a family of 3. $30. I mean, you probably spend sometimes maybe even $40, $50 to go see movies, depending on where you live. And you'll be able to pay $30, and you can watch it whenever you want. Like you unlock it, period, for $30. So they're going the ESPN Plus UFC pay-per-view route, where once you buy it, it's yours. You can watch it. I think it's extremely genius, and you get to see it in 4K HDR and everything. So yeah, I think it's genius. I think I would not be surprised if this is the game changer right here. I think that this is where the game starts changing, and if this is a big enough success, I could see them doing it with Black Widow. I know they said in their conference call that they don't have plans to do that with Black Widow, but if it's money,
yes, they'll do it.
They'll do it. I could see them doing like a day. You can either rent it or you can buy it on Disney Plus, or you can go see it in theaters. But I could see them doing it.
Now, that would be nice if that subscription were to go on and happen, and let's say you do have the subscription to go see this Disney movie, right? Mm-hmm. You can get it at your house. It's down at the theater. Let's go ahead and show at the theater that we are subscribed to this service and everything matches with your driver's license. Now you can just walk right into the theater and not have to pay an extra fee. Would that be cool or what?
Yeah.
But, of course, the movie theaters will not be making any kind of money, so what's the point of even having the theaters open?
One, they ended the Paramount decree. The federal government did. So now Disney can buy up theaters if they want. And they can treat it as a supplement to their service. I could totally see Amazon buying up theaters. And, hey, if you got a Prime membership, come on in and see movies, because
that'd be cool.
The reality is most theaters, they make their money on concessions. That's why AMC is willing to do the A-list,
And that's why a bucket of popcorn is $8.
Yeah, that's why it's $8. But they let you refill it normally. But
sure, I hope so.
But I could see Disney buying up theaters if they want, or Amazon, or any of them. I mean, it would be cool. I just think with Disney, they're cutting out the middleman now that they're putting it up on their service. So all that $30 is going straight into their pocket, and so that it works out well for them. So I mean, it's so funny. I'm seeing a lot of people that are like single, and they're like, "Oh, who would be dumb enough to spend $30 to go see or watch Mulan?" And it's like a family of 4 with 2 kids. That's already just right there alone. It's cheaper than going to the theater. For 4 people here to go see Mulan in just a normal, regular 2D theater, not like a 4K or IMAX, you're looking at $10 a ticket.
Yeah, and that's just for the ticket.
That's just for the ticket.
If you're taking kids, you're probably going to spend another $30 to $50 in concessions.
Yes, and then you got to drive there. So you're like going to a theater now. It's like
$50.
I mean, going to a theater for a family of 4, it's like almost $100. All when you take in the tickets, when you take in the concessions, and then what if you choose to go to see an IMAX movie? Well, that's $15 right there, or 4K. Well, that's $17. So I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer for a family. If you're 25 years old, you're single or whatever, you can just go pay the $10 for a ticket, relax, and enjoy yourself. But even then, if you take into account concessions, you're almost looking at $30 to go. So, genius move on Disney's part. I think that this is going to be a huge success.
Let's talk about streaming services. Peacock came up out of nowhere, it seems like, since the last time we talked to each other.
They've been talking about it for a while. They were saying it was going to be free, and then it is, but then they have stuff that's paid. There's paid content.
Gotta love that free word, the 4-letter word, and then the little small text underneath it.
Yeah, nothing's ever truly free, but you
had the Harry Potter movies switching over from HBO Max to Peacock.
Yeah, that's weird. I'm sure there's some reason for it. I'm guessing it's probably something to do with contracts. My guess is probably NBC. They might own USA Network. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. And I know USA right now has the contracts on Harry Potter to air them, so maybe they worked out something where that they can put it up on the Peacock network or something. I don't know. But yeah, they're leaving. I don't know what they're thinking with HBO Max right now. That was a disaster launch. Stuff isn't sticking. They were talking about rotating out like DC movies. Like, why would you rotate out DC movies? Why wouldn't every DC movie they've made?
Yeah, just keep them on there.
Yeah, why aren't they all on there? And they're just, I don't know. They're trying to be clever on this stuff. Like I was reading that. Oh well, no, we want to have a special curation of DC movies every month. Well, why don't you just have all of them, and then you don't have to worry about curating? You can have access to them all. I don't mind the UI as much, but it's weird. So like, they have like a DC section, but they'll be like, well, this DC movie is actually on HBO, so you're getting it through HBO, and this movie's not. And it's like, that's stupid. Just have DC movies up there, have it easily searchable to go to them. Same with Harry Potter.
Harry Potter no more on the Peacock.
Yeah, not anymore. Now they got rid of it. So
Yeah.
I don't know what. I don't know. I don't think this. I think this HBO Max was kind of a dud.
Going down the tubes.
Yeah, I mean, I know it has more. It has more content technically than HBO Now and HBO Go, which is fine. It's fine, but it doesn't feel like this was supposed to be their answer to Disney Plus. You know what I mean? And your Disney Plus, you get $7 a month, and you're getting you're getting so much content in 4K HDR. You're getting all the Star Wars movies. You're getting all the Marvel movies. They're starting to post the Fox Marvel movies now too. So if you want to watch those, you can. They got tons of Disney stuff from the past that they're just throwing up there. They'll tell you like, hey, we can't have this movie up here for contractual reasons right now, which means HBO or somebody has them. Like the Mighty Ducks originally wasn't available because HBO had the rights to it to stream it. Now Disney has the rights to stream it, so they can put it up there, and they did.
As the consumers, it sucks because if you're going into that product and you're investing your money into it to see something like Harry Potter, next week they go and they take it off and move it to a different service. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. My guess is something with Harry Potter that's contractual. That would be my guess.
What's stopping it going on over to Disney?
Well, Disney,
obviously money in a contract.
Yeah, Disney. I'm just saying it's contractual because I'm guessing one of the stations that they own, NBC owns, had the rights to it. I don't know. I mean, I guess Disney would have to be okay with putting it up there. I don't know. We don't know what Disney is okay with putting up yet. They seem to really want to kind of stick to their own stuff.
And they're doing fine, doing their own stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, you got The Mandalorian alone making bank for them.
Yep, and that was, I think I read the most anticipated or the most watched series out of all the new streaming services. So,
and it's not low budget. They're talking a couple million per episode.
Yeah, no. It looks like a Star Wars movie. Like, it looks like Star Wars, all these Marvel shows that are coming are supposed to look like Marvel movies, so they're not skimping on any of it. Again, we don't I think I read that Warner's Media now has they're restructuring. They're in the midst of restructuring now because they want to make HBO Max the focus going forward. So I'm hoping that they'll get it together. I'd like to see them put 4K content up. I don't get why they have DC Universe as a streaming service, because it can't be that popular. It hit with a thud itself. So come on, just get that out of there. Bring in the DC Universe stuff. Have everything be easily selectable like Disney has. When I go click on the DC banner, I should be taken into the world where I can go watch all the DC movies. So if I want to watch, for whatever reason, I want to watch Superman Returns, I can sit down and watch it in 4K, or I can go over and I can watch Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, and you know what I mean? Like, this stuff should already be there.
What would also be great, too, is a watch it in order tab somewhere. Watch the movies in order as they were released.
Yeah, like a playlist.
Exactly,
thing, yeah.
Yes. I mean, it's a long-ass playlist.
No, that's
it's gonna
fine.
take a long time to do.
I mean, like, little things like that I'm not even expecting. I just think that they need to go in, they need to retool this thing, have a section that's just HBO only, and have a section that's Cinemax. I know there's a lot of worry now because the guy that loves the guy that brought in AEW onto TNT, he left. He got fired in the mix of this.
Oh, really?
So a lot of people think that could see AEW getting the chopping block. I wouldn't. If I were them, I would be getting AEW up on the streaming service on HBO Max. Like, AEW airs every Wednesday night. It should be on the HBO Max at 10:01 Wednesday night after they're done airing, or even stream it directly from there as well as TNT. Put them all up on HBO Max now, make it easily accessible for fans, so if they miss it live, they can watch it on HBO Max.
So you're saying to start the archive then on HBO?
Yeah, just put them up. Get it up there, and then, they own the rights to it, so they can put them up a week. That's the one thing that would also give them a benefit over WWE, is WWE can't put they can't put new episodes of Raw up until a month after they aired. They can't put them up on the network, so AEW, you can just show them on TNT, and then right after they're done airing, just post them up onto HBO Max or whatever, like they do all their other stuff. But yeah, they got a lot of work to do on that. Now, hopefully, I think they'll get there eventually. They have a lot. They got to invest in this, like they have to. It's just something that they have to do. So I think they will. I think they'll get there with it.
So that's some pretty big news in the wrestling community about AEW.
It's news, yeah, but we don't know how it affects AEW yet, so it might not even be news. They might be fine with keeping it, and then they might continue to run with it. Who knows? We'll see.
I'm talking about the one of the big guys, big head honchos being fired, let go.
Well, he worked for Warner's Media. He didn't work for AEW. And he was the guy that really fought to bring AEW on board,
right?
Get him on TNT. So,
a lot of connections, probably.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know if this matters or if it doesn't matter. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see if the connections are still strong. Now, when it comes to wrestling, have you been watching the
I have
very
not.
Low attendance?
I'm going to be
AEW?
honest with you. This show is crashing, and I quit watching months ago. I quit watching around WrestleMania because the storylines just aren't there. They should have shut down.
Are you back with the WWE?
I was watching no, I haven't watched any of it, to be honest with you. I mean, I kind of follow it here and there because eventually I plan to watch again. I like to know what's going on, but man, nothing is going on.
Tom Hanks has been reportedly talking to the re-team up with the Forrest Gump director for a Pinocchio remake.
Yep.
Seth Rogen, I didn't know this, but I guess he's doing a TMNT reboot.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that? How do you think it's going to go over? It's going to be interesting. I'm not sure what take they're going to do because you got, obviously, the cartoon, then you got the Michael Bay version. So there's a bunch of different versions he can go with.
I think it's weird that it's going to be animated. I just find it kind of, I guess once you already do something live action, I always feel like it's kind of a step backwards to do it animated. I don't know, whatever. We'll see what it is. I'd like to see a reboot on the live-action movies. I feel like there's a really great Turtles movie to be made in live action, and I'd like to see it happen. I'm hoping that with Paramount. I believe Paramount's the one that makes them because they own Nickelodeon. I'd love to see them do a more mature Turtles movie and do something with, I'm kind of annoyed. I don't know. I prefer Turtles in live action.
Wilford Brentley, I'm sure a lot of people will know him from the diabetes commercials and, all that.
He succumbed.
So the Willow sequel series by Ron Howard, have you been following that?
There's not really much to follow on it.
He just gave a small update.
He just said it's happening.
Yes, and that's it.
So, good on them. I feel like it's a good choice to do it because it just lets you use the assets you got from Lucas Films. I mean, all they've done with Lucasfilm so far really is just Star Wars. I know Indiana Jones 5 is supposed to start shooting sometime in the next year. Good choice. I'm guessing Ron Howard's going to produce or maybe even direct all the episodes, or at least a couple of episodes. So, cool. Good for them. I'm wondering what they do.
Regis Philbin.
Passed away.
88.
God, man, you're bringing a lot of bad news. I like how you buffered it with some good news about Willow. Like, Wilford Brimley died, but Willow's coming back from the dead.
And now
Regis is dead.
And then let's talk about Die Hard. You get a chance to watch it?
I did. I'm not going to watch it. It's on Quibi, isn't it? I'm not interested.
So that's another streaming service.
That's a dead stream. That was dead in the water. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea.
Well, I guess when you never even really heard of it being talked and you're going through articles and stuff about that service, it can't really be a good thing. So it sounds like
they put a lot of money into it. And, I mean, they got a lot of talent on board, but they really thought doing, little 10-minute shows was going to get people on board.
They can find that kind of stuff on YouTube.
Yeah. No, it was a bad idea.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which also might be a bad idea. April 8th of 2022.
That's a good idea.
So they've already have everything in place, at least for a date.
The director of the first one, I don't know if he's coming back for the second one, but I believe he did the first one. Yeah, so this is really cool news. But a film adaptation of Beyond Good and Evil, the Ubisoft game, is coming to Netflix by the Detective Pikachu director, Rob Letterman.
Interesting.
That should be really cool. Beyond Good and Evil. I've been saying for years that this is just an untapped gem for movies and shows and stuff like that. Ubisoft has done nothing with it, really. I know they did the HD updates and then they keep showing off a sequel, but it ain't coming apparently because that's been talked about for years now.
So did they say what year it's going to be coming out? Because it's probably not going to be this year.
No, this is
early talks.
My guess is because I've read somewhere that Netflix really wants to put a little bit more effort into some family fare that could be a little bit bigger in scale, something like their own Harry Potter. My guess is that's what they're looking at Beyond Good and Evil as, is kind of their own family epic movie that they can kind of do sequels and stuff out of and turn them into series, which would be funny. I'll make the bold claim. the movie Beyond Good and Evil will come out before the new Beyond Good and Evil game will. And then if that movie's a success, that game will suddenly kick up in development pretty quickly. That would be my guess.
And there's also a big battle there because when movies come out, then the games follow. Typically, the games are shit compared to the movies.
Yeah, but I don't think the movies in that case will dictate the game, like what the content of the game is. I think it'll be okay. Ubisoft will realize that okay, now there's a wider interest in Beyond Good and Evil again. Let's run with it and let's get that game out there quicker.
Chucky is coming to the TV through USA and Sci-Fi next year, 2021. I saw the little trailer and I saw the post that they had there on Twitter. I can't believe it's going to be a TV show. It's awesome, though, and I really am surprised that they have not done something with Jason or Freddy or really any... or even Leprechaun, for that matter. An 80s and 90s horror character made into a TV show. I guess they did, though, with Freddy.
They did do that, and then they did a show off Crystal Lake for Friday the 13th.
Okay.
Like a show, but I don't think it ever featured Jason. And then there was actually talks of kind of doing a new Crystal Lake show. That was like the mid-2000s, and then they never did anything with it. I read an interesting interview with the producer on the Chucky show. And he's like, people are worried that we're not going to be able to present Chucky in his, the way he's actually meant to be. But he's like, I promise. We were allowed to say fuck at least 5 times in an episode. I was like, that's kind
all right,
funny.
then.
I like that. That was kind of funny. Actually, remind me, we got to talk about something off the air.
Okay.
I'm not a big Chucky guy. I don't really have anything for or against it. It's just not my thing.
Yeah, it's something that scared the crap out of me when I was younger. Then, it scared me some nights where you would wake up and see that one of your toys is still across the room and hoping that it's not going to start moving towards you. So that's probably my only experience with Chucky, is that it scared the living daylights out of me.
I always found it weird that they never really moved that character back towards the original horror atmosphere. Like, they kind of became a comedy character.
Yeah.
I know they did the remake with Mark Hamill doing the voice, and that was more horror, which actually wasn't a bad remake, believe it or not. It was actually a solid remake. But it was kind of interesting that they've never really took the original back to that Child's Play roots. Also
very cool that they keep on throwing Mark Hamill in those kind of roles. Even with the Joker, too, because you think Luke Skywalker.
I'm sure he's happy to have the work.
Sure. Oh, yeah, most definitely, right?
I'm sure he likes the paycheck.
All right, so we do have an update for the Uncharted movie. This is from a Sony representative. No, they did not email me this through IGN, but they have said that the movie has not started yet.
I'm shocked.
But the pre-preparations are underway, and they are hoping to start soon.
They've been in pre-preparations for like 10 years.
Yes, and they've been talking about the movie for 20. So Tom Holland is still hoping to be playing Nathan Drake. That has not changed, and that has been in there for a couple months now. So let's hope that the long-delayed movie is going to at least see some kind of production to be put, hopefully, into editing and released before 2026.
Yeah, I don't have hope. I think Uncharted might actually make a better show than a movie.
I think at this point, sure, well, let's go ahead and toss it on a network. There's enough networks out there where they can have something, they can sell it. And
I think
holy crap.
You throw that up on like a Netflix or an Amazon or something. Oh, speaking of Amazon, they're doing a Fallout show.
Okay.
With Jonathan Nolan.
All right.
So they got a heavy hitter on that one. That's kind of surprising. So that should be something worth watching soon.
Much detail on it? Did they say what?
I don't think so. Like, they just announced it a few weeks ago.
Okay, that's going to be very interesting to see on where they're going to be taking it, what character develop they're going to be doing, like what wasteland, what time frame of the actual apocalypse happening, or is it
could be
pre?
me playing Fallout 76 and just getting angry at it. That's all it's going to be.
Yeah.
Throwing the controller. Although, in fairness, I did hear with the latest expansion, it actually has gotten better.
It has gotten better, yeah. I actually picked it up last month.
I think that's up on Game Pass, isn't it?
Yes.
Maybe I'll give it maybe I'll crack it open on Xbox and give it a shot.
I mean, you're paying for the service. Why not let it download, let it finish? And if you played it before in the early days when it first did release, yeah, it was a pile of crap compared to now. It has gotten better.
Yeah.
I still recommend playing it. It's one of those games you can spend a lot of time on, but for other people that would think that it's a really good experience to do with a few other people, the clunkiness is there, but it's gotten a lot better to where it will run more smooth.
Maybe I'll check it out.
Okay, so here's an interesting one. Scooby-Doo's Velma. I'm sure everybody knows Velma, the reddish-haired brunette that has glasses and a turtleneck, right?
Yeah.
Well, according to James Gunn and Mystery Incorporated, the producer has confirmed that she is a lesbian.
Yeah, I heard that.
What the heck?
James Gunn said that he...
You gotta be kidding me.
James Gunn said he made her a lesbian in his script, and then they just toned it down in post.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I mean, the news is out there. So
I watched that new ScoobyDoo movie, Scoob.
Okay.
It sucked.
Did it?
Yeah, it was weird because I'm like, this is not really Scooby-Doo-like at all. And then they just introduced a bunch of like Hanna-Barbera characters, like Dick Dastardly was in it, and then the Blue Falcon, and then Dynamite? Yeah, he was in it, and then they had Captain Caveman just show up for some reason. Like, you could tell they're like, oh, we're going to build a big, huge universe and just have all our Hanna-Barbera characters, and it's like...
The Scooby-Doo universe, okay.
Yeah, no, nobody cares about it. Just make a good Scooby-Doo movie. Like,
right.
Why are you overthinking this? Like, it's always overthinking this stuff. I didn't like it.
Monster Hunter, the movie has been delayed. They are going to hopefully...
I didn't even know it was supposed to come out in September.
Yeah, September 4th.
Like,
it was supposed to drop.
They didn't release any trailers or anything. So were they just going to drop this thing out and just expect people to go see it or something?
Apparently so, but now we're going to talk about it because it's not happening for another year.
Good,
April 23rd next year.
Yeah, I'm not going to go see it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
I hope it's going to be good, but...
Well, it's done by Paul W.S. Anderson and
yes.
Mila Jovovich, so we know it's not going to be good.
Come on. No. I think it'll be okay.
No, it's not going to be.
I'm going to give it a try. If
No,
I gave
not.
the World of Warcraft movie a try, then I'm going to give this a try.
I'm not. I'm not going to give this a try.
I hope it's not like the Assassin's Creed movie. That was an abomination.
No, it'll probably be more
every
like the
time
Resident
I've
Evil
tried.
movies, where instead of running around drop kicking zombies, she's running around drop kicking dinosaurs and shit. You think that would sound cool to say, but then you see it and it's like, well, this ain't as cool as it sounded.
There's going to have to be a lot of CGI work doing that kind of stuff with all those different kind of monsters, a lot of prop work, a lot of prop design, a lot of set design, too. So it's going to be a lot of money going to be spent on that movie, for sure. Been rewatching The Tiger King by chance at all?
I've never even watched it.
Why have you not even watched it? You don't want to get up on the hype that everybo's been talking about for the past few months?
Yeah, it's just not my thing. I got some movies. I got there was a Leonard Skinner movie that came out a couple weeks ago. And I'm a Leonard Skinner fan, big Leonard Skinner fan, and I was like, I'll watch it.
Okay.
It was shitty. It was a garbage movie.
That sucks. So what was it?
It was about the plane crash. Like, it focused on the plane crash, and it wasn't like it was poorly directed or anything. It was competently made. It just wasn't a solid script. And they couldn't use any Leonard Skinner songs because... so this was, I think, produced by the drummer at the time. And I don't remember his name. I think it was Artemis. It might be Artemis Pyle or something like that.
So leading up to the plane crash, then you're having the success of Leonard Skinner leaving the bar scene, filling up now these venues.
Well, they were huge at the time, man. They were a huge band.
Yeah.
They were making the rounds at that time. And, this guy had just... I'm trying to find it. Jesus Christ. Go on Wikipedia and look up, like, past Leonard Skinner members, and
there's a lot of people.
It's like a novel.
Band.
It's like reading Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's one of those rotating bands.
Oh yeah, but they had art. The movie was like based around Artemis Pyle, who became the drummer. Like around the time they did the album Street Survivors, which is the one that's famous for. This is famous for the cover where they're standing in the street and they're on fire. So they released the album, and then like 3 days later they get into the plane crash. And it was really interesting because it wasn't poorly directed or anything. And actually, the plane crash was well done itself. But one, you can't. They weren't given the rights to use any of the Leonard Skinner songs. So because I guess Artemis Pyle is just having issues with the band itself. And then for some reason they just intercut like interviews with Artemis Pyle. Like he's interviewing for it. He's just talking about what happened. And it's like no one cares. It kind of takes you out of the movie. But you feel bad for Artemis Pyle because he really makes himself out to be like the big hero of it all. Because he survives the crash, he gets up and he starts helping people out. And then he's like, oh, shit, we're in the middle of nowhere. We need to go find someone to help. So he goes and runs, and then I don't know if there's like a drug deal or something going on, but they drove away. And now, mind you, he's like covered in blood, and he clearly looks like he just got to an accident. And so they drive away and don't help him. So then he goes on to run for a couple more miles through these woods. Like, they're in the mountainous wooded area. And he comes up onto this guy's farm, and they fucking shoot him.
My God.
They shoot this guy. It's like, man, if your bad day just couldn't get worse.
Right.
He's like walking towards him like, I need your help. Please help. And then they just shoot him. And that's what they shoot him like, oh, maybe he needs our help.
Well, he needs our help now, huh?
So he runs inside. And they finally just call up help. And it's just so funny because it's like every bad thing that could happen along the way of getting the help happen.
Right. Just when you think you've had a bad day.
Yeah, just when you thought, oh, my plane crashed. Oh,
everybody's dead.
no one wants to help me.
Survivor's guilt.
I just got shot. And then he gets into the hospital, and they're like, how are you going to pay for this? And he's like, well, I'm with the band. He's like, then the record producer's like, oh, well, we're not going to pay for it because you had a handshake deal with Ronnie Van Sant, so he's dead. So we don't have to cover you.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so it was...
now, is that part of the movie true? Do we know that for sure? That is true where he had to pay his own medical bills?
I'm sure it is.
Damn. But it was a bad movie overall. Something you would not recommend?
I would not... To me, I think there's a really great Lynyrd Skynyrd movie that could be made. This is not it. The only song that they really play, I believe, in the movie that kind of covers Lynyrd Skynyrd is Call Me the Breeze. But that's only because that's a cover that they do, and they could get the rights to it. But yeah, I'd like there to be... there's a great Lynyrd Skynyrd movie to be made. It'll happen, I think, eventually, because that's a band... That's a band worth probably doing a film about.
Another band. What would you say? Led Zeppelin.
No.
No? Really?
No.
You're a big Led Zeppelin
I
fan,
love Led Zeppelin.
And you don't want to see some kind of a movie about it?
No, because, like, what's the point?
You're going to have a lot of early stuff with John Bonham, and then what happened after that? Led Zeppelin was no more.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, like, what's the point? Like, what are you going to get from making a Led Zeppelin movie? That's like, what is unique about the Led Zeppelin story from other rock stars? You know what I mean? And this is why it's so funny because
But we get Queen, then we
get
that's
what I'm getting
Rocket
at. Like,
Man.
Like, we got Queen, right? And then we get Rocket Man.
We got the Mötley Crüe depiction.
Yeah, but like, what was so different between Rocket Man and Queen? You know, like, what made Elton John's story so different from Freddie Mercury's, other than he didn't die from AIDS? You know what I mean? Like, they were both dealing with homosexuality. I mean, that's what made those stories interesting, was their sexuality. Otherwise, they were just guys who were doing drugs and getting drunk and partying all the time. Same with Mötley Crüe. That's what they do. Realistically speaking, what would be so different about the Led Zeppelin story versus the Mötley Crüe story? You know? Inspiration. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. Led Zeppelin's a good band, a great band, and Mötley Crüe sucks. But it's
depending on who you ask.
Anyone that knows what they're talking about.
Oh, my God. Right.
To me, it's like you got to find that angle of what makes these... And they'll do it because there's money to be made on these things now with the Queen and the Elton John movie being big. What's the point? You know what I mean? Like, what are you really going to get from a Led Zeppelin movie that you didn't get from the Mötley Crüe movie? Or what are you going to get from the Jimi Hendrix movie that you wouldn't get from anywhere else? You know, like,
well, I'll tell you right now, if you're to do a Jimi Hendrix movie and a Zeppelin movie, at least you can have some of the members from the band be there to give exactly. But they've done interviews. They've done a crap ton of stuff over the decades that they've been doing these interviews. So there's probably enough information out there to do something really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, again, it's just, I love the music. I do, but it's like, do I really care to see the stories told? No, like, there needs to be an interesting hook for me. Like, I get why you want to do an Elton John movie. Because, you know, he dealt with his sexuality for you. Same kind of with Freddie Mercury. I kind of get why you want to do that. Like, Janis Joplin, I think, would make a good movie. I think that would be an interesting movie to tell.
It'd be a sad movie at the end.
Well, yeah, so would Jimi Hendrix, though.
Yep.
But, I mean, I think there's a really interesting movie to tell. But, like, again, you've already had the definitive rock star movie being told with, like, The Doors. Like, what are you going to really get from a Led Zeppelin movie that didn't happen in The Doors, you know? And then, again, Led Zeppelin's a much better band than The Doors. But I just... Their stories there's a lot of similarities, you know, like, what are you going to really get that's different? I think Lynyrd Skynyrd's story is interesting because the plane crash happened, and then they rebooted the band 10 years later. I think there's an interesting story there to tell about bringing, like, what they went through to come back, you know, with his brother taking on the role. I think there's an interesting story there. That's what I think is interesting about Lynyrd Skynyrd. We could discuss the quality of music Lynyrd Skynyrd created, but, you know, the concept of the band came back. And I think there's a lot of cool stuff that you could tell with it. That's where I think the unique story is for Lynyrd Skynyrd. But, yeah, I love Led Zeppelin, but what are you really going to get out of Led Zeppelin a movie that you wouldn't get? Like, you could do one movie about a grunge band, and that'll cover all the grunge bands. You know, you could do one Lane Staley movie, and that'll cover all of them, including, you know, Kurt Cobain. Like, what are you going to get from a Lane Staley movie that you wouldn't get from a Kurt Cobain movie type of thing?
Would be cool to have a service like Netflix. Every episode within that series or that season is going to be by a different director, different writer, their own team, their own set of skills, if you will. And then you take the just topic subject of music. You do an episode about Led Zeppelin. You can do an episode about Janis Joplin.
No, you could. Yeah, you could do that. I mean, again, I think that if you want to do so, you got to find a unique angle. You know what I mean? Like, to me, there's a unique angle with Janis Joplin kind of being one of the only, being really one of the first women to become a rock star, like the way she did. And I think there's something unique there with that. So I think that would be unique to run with. Again, I think Lynyrd Skynyrd would be unique with the rebooting of the band in the late 80s. I'm trying to think of what else. I think you could do a grunge band, but, you know, it'd have to be Alice in Chains or Nirvana, because once you do one, you pretty much cover the other in a lot of ways. So, I mean, it just, yeah, I don't see, like, I think we're going to get a bunch of rock star biopics over the next several years.
I believe so, yeah.
And I don't think they're going to be all that good or all that interesting. Some of them might be good, but I don't think they're going to be as interesting as people think they will be.
It's going to be interesting seeing the movies, the biopics, if you will, in 30 years.
Maybe.
About, let's say, all the rap people that are out right now. The rap
but
and
they already
pop,
did one.
R&B.
They've done a bunch of those
Oh,
already.
of course they have.
Like,
but
they had the
we're going to have that
NWA.
wave, though. We're going to have that wave of people that are popular now getting down to their close elderly age.
I mean, they technically already did an Eminem movie.
Yeah. and however you want to look at that, yeah.
Does anyone really want to see a Wiz Khalifa movie?
I'm sure there's people out there.
Yeah, but like, what's so interesting about Wiz Khalifa that would make a good movie?
What's so interesting about Elton John?
Well, I mean, what's interesting about him is that he was definitely a pioneer of the English rock stuff in the mid-'70s.
It depends on where Wiz Khalifa came from, though, because it depends on who you ask. There is so much that somebody's going to know about somebody. I'm not saying that there isn't, like, potentially good stories to be told. I'm just saying, what's the angle? You know, like, what does a Wiz Khalifa really offer? What does a Lil Wayne offer in terms of, like, story? You know, I'm not even saying anything about their music. I don't know anything about their music. I just know who they are. But, like, what do they do? You know, like, what do they really bring to the table in terms of, like, what story can you tell with them? Like, what is their story that makes it worth telling? You know, like, I get, again, Elton John's story makes sense because there's a lot of dealing with the abuse of a child, and, you know, combined with dealing with his sexuality, because that's what his movie really is about, is the abuse he suffered as a kid, and then the going into the drugs, and then the sexuality. So I get it. But, like, unless Wiz Khalifa comes out and says he loves dick, I don't really think it matters. Does it? It is going to matter to somebody, I think.
Well, I'm sure there's somebody that it matters. I mean, there's somebody that Led Zeppelin, the movie, would, you know, matter to.
Sure, it's like, going to appeal to someone.
I guess what I'm trying to, I mean, it would be huge. I'm not saying it wouldn't be huge. I just, what's the appeal? Like, what's the angle? Like, what really separates a Led Zeppelin movie from a Motley Crue movie? Not much.
How the story is told.
But, I mean, even then, I mean, other than the fact that one of their members died. I guess what I'm trying to say is a lot of rock bands just have the same story.
Sure.
So it's like, I don't really see the appeal of seeing all these bands. So yeah, give me a grunge band, you know, give me a Nirvana or an Alice or a Lane Staley movie, you know, give me something like that. But I only need one of them. I don't need to see the other because it's going to cover them both pretty well. Lane Staley and Kurt Cobain had very similar journeys in a lot of ways, and then a very similar end in a lot of ways. So I don't really need to see both of them. I mean, we'll probably get both of them, but it's just, what's the point, you know? I mean, if they both happen, I hope they're good.
What about Aerosmith?
No, God, no.
You don't want to see Steven Tyler up on the big screen?
Only if they get Liv Tyler to play him.
Oh, yeah?
that is
money talks.
Isn't it so funny? Obviously, we've never met either of them. Or did you meet?
Yeah.
Did you meet him?
Yeah, I've met him twice.
You met him twice?
Yep, Steven Tyler.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you ever meet Liv Tyler?
Once.
How was she?
She seemed fine. I mean, I didn't have any quarrels or issues. I mean, it's not like I had a conversation with the two of them.
Doesn't it seem like they're just total opposite human beings, the two of them?
And the interactions that I had, yeah.
She just comes off as so soft-spoken and polite and, like, very unassuming versus him where he just seems like he could talk your ear off for hours and hours and hours. I just find that interesting. Nothing really to build upon on that. Just two opposite people.
I will say, I won't give out too much details or names or anything like that, but there was a person that always worked in the backstage area, I guess you can say. You know him, he's a very tall guy, gentle giant, really. And every time that Steven Tyler from Aerosmith would come around, he would literally go out there and talk to that individual for as long as he could before he went up on that stage. So you do get to see a lot of that kind of stuff, and then you do also get to see
did Liv Tyler go through with him sometimes or something?
Yes.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that.
It was just something that, every time those rock stars like Bret Michaels, Poison.
Yeah, but Liv Tyler's a star herself, though. I figured she'd be out, like, working.
No.
No, she just goes on tour with her dad at the age of 40.
I can't say much because, I mean, you had Eddie Money's daughter.
Yeah.
You're going on tour with him and all that.
Yeah, but that was her gig.
Sure.
Liv Tyler makes movies. She's an accomplished actress. So her coming through is kind of interesting. That's all. I mean, I guess she just wanted to come see the show in Detroit.
Yeah, I remember that debacle with, what was that one marriage that failed? Katy Perry and Russell Brand. Yeah, that was another interesting one.
I remember, everyone told me about that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess technically you don't have to be as quiet about it anymore because the building's not even.
Yeah, I know.
You're not even employed there.
I know, but, NDAs were signed, and I don't want the NDAs to come back up and all
that
shit.
Were they signed?
They were signed. I had to sign them that night.
Yeah. Oh.
Yep, I had to go up into the back office and sign them before my shift ended.
They never. Oh, well, it's so funny because by then you already worked it. They can't make you sign it at that point.
Yeah, but it
make you sign it.
It wasn't through the place that we were working. It was,
it was through her management.
Through their management. Yes.
Yeah.
So whatever management company, whatever it was.
Yeah, but there's nothing that they could have done to you. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean,
I mean, they could have complained like, "Hey, this guy that was doing his job backstage, we wanted him to sign an NDA
for doing his
job." All right.
Right.
So he won't do it though. Okay. He said he would do it by the end of the shift. Okay, well, you should have just left him. Yeah, but, he's leaving right now. He's gone. No, so now he can go talk about Katy Perry online.
No, I had to stay there until production left, and I had to be escorted with the people.
Yeah, but, there's nothing they could do to make you do it, though, at the end. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're not going to hold a gun to my head and say, oh, you got to sign this before you leave, or else you're never going anywhere. You're going to stay locked up in this room.
Did they give you an incentive to sign it?
No, it was just something.
Did she offer to show her titties to you or something?
No, it was
here.
Yeah, I'm going to say right now, the backstage life is not that glorious, okay?
I'll flash you. I'll flash you if you sign this NDA, but you can't tell people I flashed you.
No. It was nothing that graphic. But
she just gave him a handy.
I wasn't going to really gain anything from it besides, the handy. But
turns out Katy Perry's not very good at giving them.
Nothing happened. I had to sign the paperwork, and it wasn't going to come anything for me to even talk about it now and bash people because, then probably could have hurt careers a lot more than what it could have hurt now. But
probably because her career's kind of on the downswing, isn't it now?
Isn't she pregnant? Or
yeah,
she's got a kid coming along.
Orlando Bloom.
Yeah,
both of them have a career. Well, Orlando Bloom's career is pretty much done.
Ever since what, Pirates? Is that what killed it?
He did. He just never drew. You know what I mean?
But what finally killed it, though?
I don't think any particular one thing killed it. It just was he was never a star. It's kind of like that conversation we had about Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck he's never been a star. All his movies don't do well. You know what I mean? Every movie, it's so weird that he's kind of this tabloid fixture and he's just considered this big A-list star, but he's not. He's that's the weird. It's kind of what's weird about Hollywood is they get these agents and these managers that somehow convince studios that these people are stars, but they're not really.
It's about ego, man.
Orlando Bloom was just never a star. He did Pirates of the Caribbean, but that was more of a Johnny Depp thing. No one sat around and said, man, I'm going to see Pirates of the Caribbean because of Orlando Bloom.
Oh, of course not. But he was still there, so you're going to get the name with it.
The two big movies he did that was on him was the Kingdom of Heaven movie, and I don't remember if that did well or not. I don't think it did. That was a Ridley Scott movie. Oh, then he did that Elizabethtown with Cameron Crowe, and that movie kind of hit with a thud. Yeah, he's just one of those guys that he just never was a star, and then his movies kind of just dried up. So I guess he'd get put into a Marvel movie somewhere and try to get a big role like that. But I don't know if you would even cast him in one of those roles. So
I don't know. I'm not really into the movie scene and Hollywood and all that kind of political junk. It's crazy.
I don't know where Katy Perry falls on the star scale, but I believe she's kind of on the downturn too. And
I think it's about time for her to take some time off. There was a good.
Well, usually when you're about to have a kid, it's about a good time.
Right. Yes.
That's normally a sign that it's okay to take a time off.
But she can bounce right back and get right back into the swing of things with some music, and same with acting too. I think it's a little bit harder to be an actor in that way than a musician, because if you're somebody that does not have to suffer writer's block and you're just that creative, you can write everything down on a piece of paper. But even then, musicians, just like actors, sometimes everything is presented to you and you just have to act. You have to perform. Some people's songs are not even their songs. Someone else wrote them, was given $100 for it, and then
that's probably how Katy Perry's are. I don't think how many songs of hers does she?
I couldn't begin to tell you if she writes her own music, or how many composers or people have to get in there to collaborate with her. But that's how Kesha got her start, is by making music or making songs for other people, writing them out. They would have her stuff, get famous off of that, so then she decided to do it herself. So, all right, well, this is TV, movie, and wrestling news coming to an end for Podcast 298. Thank you guys for listening on in. Make sure you visit the website, everydaygaming.society.com, and until the next one happens, take care.